right underneath the new elected oath office. I think that do the oath of office and do that at the same time, makes sense. I'll make that motion.
Okay. I'm also, people from Samoan are here, and I think
Well, we need to vote on this one.
I'll just do one, okay. I'll second, you second it? Oh, I second it.
All in favor?
Aye. Mr. Mayor, I'd also like to move H, Department of Environmental Quality Sanitary Survey of City's water system, up to either before or after the public hearing on water and get all our water together. Would it be better before?
I think either place would be fine.
Before we're talking about water, yeah, I'd like to move that up before the public hearing on water, because it has to do with water.
Yeah, I agree, there's some things, recommendations in there that should be part of
I'll make that
the
motion.
improvements.
Okay, H goes up ahead of
So
audience comments.
Jerry made a motion, but there's no second.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I'd like to make a motion to move 7 part F, the Samoan Fire District report, to after the public hearing, so that they don't have
Wait till the whole meeting, I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
to.
And that was where now?
That would be go after A.
After the
After
public hearing.
So there was a motion and a second. Did you guys vote on that?
Let's do it again.
So, Eileen moved, Jerry seconded to move San Juan Fire District to right after the public hearing.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's move on to approval of last meeting minutes.
I've read those over typo errors, I didn't see any typo errors, it may be. I would move to approve the minutes of December 10th, 2013, as determined. Oh, the regular meeting.
Get a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
More discussion for it.
A special meeting in there too? No.
That was it.
That was it. Okay. Let's move
Oh,
on.
I'm sorry, there was.
It was, huh?
Yes, sorry. Same day, but
Yeah.
I didn't know you were still here. I
I
wanted to
make
make
sure
sure
that
that
we
you
get
were
accept minutes of that special.
Okay.
Especially, this, are you gonna use a grammatical?
I see one typo, but I didn't.
Well, I don't know, I don't even know how to correct the sentence, but, or exactly how it should be
Do
worded.
we have a second?
we do not.
No.
We have a second before we can discuss it. I'll second it. Now we can discuss it.
Okay.
The sentence after where it says, denying the tape, it says, council also talked about the differences between option 1 and option 2 and and how they are phrased in the only difference is the cost of the template. I thought it was a little bit of a run-on and I couldn't figure out how to switch it. I think I understood the
Put a period there instead of the comma. I don't think it was. I don't know,
Was the content correct?
the context.
content's correct.
Either that, have, or just and put a little comment before that, and just what you have as a phrase in the sentence. And just put another comment in there.
Then the other thing I'm trying to continue, it's the second paragraph, it says DEQ likely qualified professional. I think it should be qualified for that too. That's what I think I just saw.
In the second paragraph?
Yes. second paragraph, the city will
Third
submit a letter.
Oh,
Third.
Third paragraph. The city will submit a letter
Of interest.
directly qualified question.
Well, what we're doing is getting another capital on Mike, which indicates starting another sentence, which is what it didn't. Should be just a comma and a small letter.
Yeah, the period on the Q is.
Well, it's all in caps.
Period, given is capital.
I struggle reading that.
Is there a rule that the minutes have to be written up in all capitals?
It would be easier, I mean, Word would take a lot of corrections for you.
You don't care.
I don't think we've heard.
We have not. Now, Vernon moved, Jerry seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Yeah, let's move on then to approval of bills.
Arlene has gone through those, has gone through the training.
There is some additions to your bill list. The cost of Brian's bill was $87.50. There's an addition of 4 checks, 3 of them being stipend checks. One to Marty Gold for $60, one to Robert Crater for $80, one to Paul Madden for $90. There was a total of 2 calls. And then the 4th check is to Decory and Michael and Teague, the city auditors, for $1,000, which completes their program for the 2013 audit. For a grand total of $7,077.47.
What's that again
Total,
for Decory and
$1,000.
that?
This is McCall Motors and reference to it.
Yes,
And that's the same with Clyde's Towing,
yes,
American Leak
And the
Detector.
same with Will's Tire, I think.
yes.
Yeah.
Right. And leak detector, was that the Chanel Hill or is that?
That was it.
And then RVS.
That is our billing software unit for
Oh, yeah,
the
okay.
water billing, and that's the yearly maintenance on it.
You had Brian Clare's name in, but no money.
$87.
Well, I know I wrote it in, but
Yeah.
Because I didn't, at the time when I printed these out, I didn't have his bill. I didn't get it until Monday, so you guys got all this information on Friday, that's why it was.
if there's no further corrections, I will move to approve the amended bills of $7,077.47 and to approve the bills that came in late that reiterated to us.
Need a second?
Second.
All in favor? Financial reports.
You start with general funds? Professional fees, 1166.
And that was the split out of the $3,500 that you approved last month for DMT. It gets split between general streets and water.
I circled it down the other sheet. And then the attorney fee,
That was the one that you guys questioned last month and had copies of the bills made of.
okay, that's in the file.
No, that's the current bill that you just approved.
I think it shows the payment.
Yeah. So we're well over in attorney fees when you add in this month's, which you just approved. We're about 1,500 over.
It's expensive. Supplies are up.
Office
And
supplies?
Water fund balance, is that the, putting the bills and stuff like that?
Supplies?
Or 6650.
That was last month's going of it, yeah.
That's for 1 month, that's what we.
We bought paper, we bought
Oh, okay.
ink cartridges, that was the big one, was the ink cartridges.
And a portion of the attorney fees, the 397 went to water, that was part of it.
That was Richard Martin.
Virgin Money.
Everybody okay with the bills?
You okay? Eileen? Okay, let's move on then to the newly elected office, oath of office, who's voicing. Appointment of council president and corrections of approved bank signature cards.
So we'll start with the oath of office, so if I could get Eileen, Vern, and Tom to stand and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Idaho, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of council member of the City of East Hope according to the best of your ability? Okay. If I can get,
I think we have to sign it.
yep,
The sign that. So far, you got 50 fingers against the law.
Tom, if I can get you to sign that one. And if I can get you to sign that one. And then if I can get you to sign that. Okay. It's official. You guys are stuck here.
Now you can't get out, now you're locked in.
Learning to get along.
All right. Well, we continue on with the appointment of the council president and corrections, the approval of any signature cards.
I would make a motion to appoint Eileen as council president.
I second.
Okay.
One of us should.
One of you seconded, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
With that being done, we don't have to change the signature card.
The only thing we do need to change, we need a motion because Sandy's no longer here and she was on the as a secondary signer. So we need to have that removed.
I make a motion, we remove Sandy Butler as a secondary signer on our signature cards.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Okay. What else we got to do here? We got,
Audience comment.
audience comments is next, then I guess. Anybody got anything? Tom?
Yeah, I would like to know why audience comments are way up there, when you got all this new business down here, and you stifle us from commenting on it.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true. I think the mayor has the option to recognize someone if they have a specific question about something. I would think he should, limited, to 3 minutes. No, we're not trying to stifle that. It's just, this is, I think, for anything new that's not on the agenda, that somebody wants to talk about. That's my opinion.
Anybody else got any comments on it? Well, audience in general, you got any comments? No? Okay. Let's move on to new business.
And the first item, since they adjusted your agenda, is the DEQ sanitary survey.
Remove the H up there.
Okay, right, yeah. Department of Environmental Quality Sanitary Survey and City's Water System Report. Well,
We have discussion, or what's going on?
What would you like to start with?
Well, there's some problems.
The deficiencies are in the back, organized in the back of the last 3 pages. And I
Page
think
7.
that's the things we have to focus on.
All right.
And page 17 starts that.
So, can I ask, has the engineer seen this?
Yes,
Are we addressing a lot of this in our plan?
yes.
So we were aware of a lot of it?
I don't think anything was brought up that we were aware of.
The only thing we weren't aware of was the pH tester.
Great.
That was
But
one
that's
of the
something
big.
that's a fantastic
Yes,
system.
it is. It's a
And it
handheld
doesn't have to
model.
be a part of the.
No. It is something we need to
do.
address,
Yes.
and it is not cheap.
Have you researched some of it?
We have, Marty and I have been working with Jim Williamson, the DEQ gentleman that came out and did the sanitary survey. He has given us some information. He's also encouraged us to talk to EPA, which we contacted today, and I left a message for Marie. She's supposed to get back with me. Some of because they have to be approved for federal standards, that meet the federal standards, the pH testers do. And we're looking at between $500 to $1,000 depending on what is recommended. But that's about ballpark. The one that, one of his recommendations was one that came in at $940. So,
Well, we've got 120 days to provide documentation that we're doing this.
which is basically a letter stating how you're going to cure these deficiencies.
You either correct it within 120 days or tell them why you can't.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
We just have to be pursuing it. We don't, it doesn't have to be completed in all cases within that time frame. And the other thing is but looking at the plan, we did cover the stuff about the quick removal of water, this sort of thing, in the sand filters, that we had to put in floating systems, and that is in there, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, to stay on page, you want to start with 17 and have comments on the first two, significant deficiencies. So, are you going to help us write this, or do we have enough information?
I think you have enough information to write it. I'm happy to review the letter for, if you'd like, if you'd like.
Okay.
She has it.
Okay. And the flow sensing device, that flow sensing device that he's talking about in number 2, that's.
It's a fail-safe system so that if the flow in the line is decreased, that it's not over-injecting chlorine into the system. So this is a device that is drilled into the pipe, and it's a flow sensor of the water passing by. So when that flow stops, and the pump doesn't trigger off, that will trigger it off. It's a secondary device.
But we're gonna, in the letter, we're going to say, this is in our plan.
It's addressed in our water facility plan, yes.
Well, I think that's all that required us to do, is it said, do it when you're doing the modification of the system. So, and the question is, if it's in the plan, it's covered.
Okay, so that page 18 is not, you got something?
Within the Idaho rules for public drinking water systems in the sanitary service section, it says a response is required. The owner of a public water system must respond in writing describing how and on what schedule the system will address all significant deficiencies, not later than 45 days after receiving notification from the department. So that's the significant deficiencies. The other deficiencies is 120.
I'm sorry, I don't know who.
I'm sorry, I'm Katie with the Department of Environmental Quality.
Oh,
I'm the funding oversight.
I didn't know the player.
So our significant deficiencies are on page 17.
Correct.
Which,
There's 2 of
we've
them.
got the letter ready,
Right,
we can do that, we can meet the 45 days.
yes.
Okay, now the next deficiencies are on page 18. And one is just a discipline of picking up the garden hose,
Yes.
and the other one is the pH tester. So we're gonna, we prepared to decide on buying a pH tester, or
We should be, yeah. I mean,
We have to.
I mean, we already have a couple of references, and I called Marie with EPA, who Jim suggested I speak with, and get references from them as to makes and models that would be appropriate to our surface water treatment system.
okay, so do you need a motion to be allowed to do that, or is that just,
I don't think
we just
so.
do it?
I mean,
So
that's
the reason you're
one.
here is to fill the requirement of 30 days meeting with you?
She's here to just talk about funding for the public hearings as part of the
But we-
city plan.
We are required to meet with the department within 30 days, so I assume that is this meeting? Because you're with the department.
I don't think we can quite go that
No.
far. But I have a feeling Jim Williamson will come up.
Yes.
And then the question 1 there on the routinely overestimating, is that just a disciplinary thing?
The contact time, it's on, and I believe the figures that we gave him in the dimensions of the contact basin were slightly off after looking at them again and going through his analysis of how he figures contact time. And I think we were slightly off in our measurements. So that will be addressed, yes.
Okay.
So it'll make it much closer.
Yes.
Okay.
And we will work with them to make sure that we're calculating it appropriately.
And it's still adequate.
Yes.
It's just, it was just a difference in how it's being calculated.
Right.
The thing that blew me away was that talking about pumping the water, unfiltered water up through the sand and contaminating it. We know that that's been happening, okay, and we gotta stop that.
That will be, yeah, one of the reasons for adding an additional sand filter, so you'll have enough capacity in clean water
to do.
to do that. You don't have enough capacity to do that now.
Have the staff that runs our water supply gone over all this?
We have gone through this with a fine tooth comb. We've actually discussed a lot of this with Jim also.
Okay. Anything else we need to talk about, or is there anything we need to do?
I don't know that there's anything
I
that,
think
other
we
than
just
the
need-
letter, stating how and when we'll be compliant. We know that our pH tester is going to be expensive, and we will be working on our contact time calculations. So,
The only thing I can see is that just to be sure that we had the major things that they were talking about included in the plan. They are, so we just accept the report.
Is there a need to put anything, does any of this force something that you had planned out 5 years down the road?
I don't think it changes anything.
Doesn't change any of the schedule? Doesn't force anything?
Yeah, I don't think so.
unless there's a plan of correction and you're moving forward on it, we have a plan of action, we have a way to get to the, means to get to the end.
Right.
That finishes that.
We're pretty well set.
So,
We're going to our public hearing.
Okay. Public hearing exposing the draft water facility plan to the public to discuss the alternate options. Michelle, you got?
Alright.
do you want the light down so it's easy to see?
Try the picture.
Yeah, let's see.
George, can I get you to hit the light switch right there, please?
You see?
Yeah.
Alright. Got a few copies up here if anybody wants notes. So this public hearing is to fulfill the last phase of the water facility plan for the city. So we've been going through this process for almost a year and a half now, kind of working through all the deficiencies of the system, and it was good to have this report come in from DEQ right before this, because it gave you guys an idea of